Good day, everyone. My name is Jessica Fell, and I'm a PhD student at the University of Cape Town, and I'm both supported by and a member of the Water Sensitive Design Community of Practice. During this presentation today, I'm going to walk you through the new website that we're developing for the CoP and how we're using it as a tool for expanding and embedding the CoP within South Africa. Just to start off with a quick look at the road to water sensitivity within South Africa and how the CoP fits into this. It started off back in 2013 with the South African guidelines for sustainable urban drainage systems. It was followed the next year by the framework and guidelines for water sensitive urban design. During this same year is when the CoP came into existence, and these sort of activities all fall within the Water Research Commission's Water Sensitive Design Lighthouse that started back in 2015. So the first phase of the CoP, which was from 2014 to 2019, really focused on developing and managing a 5-year community of practice to facilitate the implementation of water sensitive design in the country. And it was specifically focused on the knowledge sharing and capacity development sort of components. And this really centered on water sensitive design and SUDS training workshops, seminars and information sessions, and some research. In 2019, the CoP entered its second phase, which runs until 2022. And some of the aims within this particular phase are trying to strengthen the CoP in terms of its online presence and it's sort of being a go-to for anything water sensitive design in the country, and also to develop a stronger narrative on the impacts of the CoP, and particularly try bring this into the online presence that we're trying to enhance for the CoP. In the process of moving from the old website and now developing the new website, we developed a theory of change so we could really sort of crystallize the aim of the CoP and know what impact areas we were trying to communicate. So a theory of change sort of defines your long-term goals, and then it maps backwards to identify the necessary preconditions to achieving these goals. Just starting with this desired state or this end goal, the original goal of the first phase of the community of practice was this widespread uptake of water sensitive design, specifically through a strong researcher, stakeholder, and implementer interface that leverages partnerships and manages and facilitates technology transfer opportunities from the planning through to the design and implementation phases of water sensitive design. We try to simplify this a bit into facilitating a widespread uptake of water sensitive designs through sort of 3 key prongs. And we develop those by looking at our different activities and our outputs and then our eventual outcomes. So your drivers for this are sort of pretty standard challenges that we're facing in the water sector. We look at the activities component of the community of practice. It's really around training, awareness raising, engaging with stakeholders, conducting research, and building capacity. These particular activities are linked to specific outputs. So the training activities, the output of that is our training sessions and our workshops. Our awareness raising activities are in the form of the outputs of seminars, conference abstracts, invited presentations, pop articles, and so on. Stakeholder engagement sort of touches on both of these other two activities, and that's around workshops, presentations, and the websites. The research activities, the outputs there are around the projects, your peer review papers, research partnerships, and so on. And the capacity development activities are specifically focusing on your university postgraduate students and sort of training them or bringing them into the water sensitive design world to take it further into their workplace. So looking at these activities and outputs, the outcomes that the community of practice is trying to arrive at are that the relevant knowledge for water sensitive design is improved for all stakeholders that are involved, that there's improved water management and governance, and also that there's increased capacity for water sensitive design research and practices. So going back to this sort of aim that was crystallized through this theory of change process and subsequently then our impact areas, and this aim is that we facilitate the widespread implementation of water sensitive design in South Africa through three different prongs that we're seeing here. The first one is knowledge sharing. And this is focusing on sharing knowledge through the website and it acting as this repository of resources, of different case studies and a map, which is very exciting and which I will get to a few slides on. The second prong of our impact prong is around capacity development. So this is the training, and this is another one of these really big offerings of the CoP, the training that we do around the country. Also, capacity development is focused on postgraduate research and different research projects. The third impact area is stakeholder engagement activities, and this is, you know, your pop articles, talks, advisory, your professional input, and sort of your thought leadership kind of work. So once we had these aims that were crystallized, it was a lot easier to say, how are we going to make this new website, and how can we take these forward and really make sure that they're communicated in the new websites. There was a previous website that existed and it was linked to this first phase of the CoP, and we also wanted to use this and build on this because there were a lot of good resources that we were seeing in there. This particular system was hosted by UCT, and that's because the CoP is hosted by Dr. Kirsty Carden at the Future Water Institute. You can see a visual of the homepage of the previous website on the slide here. And the website's stated aim was to report on ongoing projects related to the WRC's Water Sensitive Design Lighthouse. And this included the SUDS guidelines and the Water Sensitive Urban Design Guidelines. So we took this old website and sort of figured out what worked and what didn't work, and then proceeded into this website development phase with some web developers that we're working with for this project. Taking a quick look and a quick stock of the site architecture of the old website. The first top menu item was news. Next was Water Sensitive Design South Africa, and this was really sort of this repository or explainer on water sensitive design and SUDS and modeling tools and so on. The next menu item was case studies, and these are really important and effective in sort of showing what water sensitive design looks like on the ground in different cities, in different contexts, at different scales and so on. Next, we had a set of resources with different South African guidelines and policies, some international manuals, some international case studies, and some academic and research resources. The next two menu items are links to two different websites and two different organizations. The first being Future Water, which hosts the community of practice, and the next, the Water Hub, which is a large demonstration site in Franschhoek that uses various water-sensitive design and SUDS techniques. We then had a section on the particular research team and different conference resources. And as we entered this second phase of the CoP now, the time for change came, and the time for developing a new website was upon us. And so we have some web developers that are sort of doing the work in the background for us. We had quite a few different components that we wanted to incorporate within the new website. The first was a clean and sort of modern look, one that's very intuitive for the user, very easy to operate. It's sort of very obvious where different resources sit under your menu items, and it's organized in sort of this logical, intuitive way. We wanted it to be digestible and targeted. We know that the sort of range of people working within the water sensitive design space is very big. Sort of by nature, we have a very broad range of disciplines and practitioners working in the space. So most importantly, we really wanted these three impact areas to come through very clearly and be communicated sort of in the way the homepage is set up, in the way the menu items are organized, and on each of the individual pages. So that was a really big component for us to bring through in all of this. And lastly, we also wanted to reflect the evolution and the different developments in water sensitive design, sort of especially trying to broaden beyond a stormwater management function or a physical, infrastructure interventions function, and sort of show the full breadth of the water sensitive space, if you will. So here we are. This is the first look at our new and improved and shiny website that we have up. This is just a screenshot of one section of the homepage. So we have our aim right up there at the top. This is what we do. We facilitate the implementation of water sensitive design in South Africa. Immediately under that are two sort of boxes or sections. The first on what is water sensitive design, and this is a very simplified explanation we've given there. And the second is this, what do we do? And immediately there we can start to see what our impact areas are. This is a continued screenshot of the same homepage. The next section under what is water sensitive design and what do we do is our activities. And once again, we're getting this big communication of our impact areas coming through. So the first little box is to access the various guidelines within South Africa. The next is our water sensitive design training, which is this huge sort of value offering of the CoP in particular. And the third box is being left open at the moment for sort of stakeholder engagement activities or events or new pieces of research that'll come up. So you'll see in this third box here that we have said that we're having a workshop at WSD 2020, and here we are at the workshop today. And underneath that sort of section on our activities is our interactive water map, which is a really great addition to the website and a really good way of visually showing where water sensitive design is happening, what's happening there, how it's happening, and so on. Going into the site architecture now and how we've organized this to try and be intuitive and to try and help people access what they came here to access for. So the first top menu item is about, and this is about the community of practice, our role, our aim, who we are, and so on. The next menu item is water sensitive design, and this is where we have information about water sensitive design and so on. So the menu items within that are water sensitive cities, SUDs, water sensitive design in South Africa, modeling tools, and a water words glossary. I've just put a screenshot over here of the page on water sensitive cities to show what it looks like. The next menu item is activities, and under here we have a page on water sensitive design training that we've done, and this is really to showcase the reach that we've had in this, who we've trained, where we've trained, and so on. Under that is affiliated projects, and that is there's sort of a lot going on that's quite closely aligned with this, and that will have a list of your various projects and more information on them and so on. And the next is events, and this is any sort of water sensitive related events that will be displayed here. After that, we have a section of resources with guidelines, policies, and manuals, and this is both South African and international. We have a section on research and then a section on relevant websites, which will be useful. The next menu item is a water museum, and I will get to explaining that on the next slide, and a water map, which I'll also explain on the next slide. So the Water Museum is a project that is being run by a postdoctoral fellow at the Future Water Institute, Dr. Amber Abrams. The aim of this project is to gather data and information on water sources that the citizens of Cape Town use, and to ask people to submit water samples or stories to this water museum. And this helps with generating data on water quality in Cape Town, and also to map how and why water sources are chosen or used by different citizens in Cape Town. And this project's sort of grounded in this human development paradigm, and it's using capacity development and citizen scientists and engaged approaches. And it's really to sort of showcase the social science aspects of water sensitive design, and how important these are within the water sensitive space. So one of the components of this project is developing an online interactive map of the various water samples and stories that people have submitted, and I will talk about the map now. So as the text here says, the map is an interactive and growing effort to develop an understanding of the range of watery landscapes that are important to citizens, and to provide a space for visitors to upload their own experiences and information. And this map is part of this Water Museum project, and also to the Water Sensitive Design CoP program. And so we will have both case studies or pins on there of water museum stories and samples, and also of examples of water sensitive design within the city that people can upload. And sorry, not even within the city, within the whole country actually. So that will be quite broad, and we're hoping, when we do training in different parts of the country, that we can get people to contribute a case study or two once we've done the training. So this is a really sort of fun and interactive part of the website that we're very excited about. And that's all I have for you today. We would love to hear any suggestions that you have for the website, anything you think could help it or improve it. Any questions you may have too, and we look forward to engaging with you in this rest of the session of the COP workshop. Thank you.